So a lot of MPs are still reacting to this announcement by the Speaker of Parliament adjourning sitting indefinitely. We will still try and get some reactions from the MPs.
What you are saying, as far as reality, because the honest truth is that today NDC remains the majority. Members of parliament. And in the area, you better to Mona, the better. That is my suggestion. As we are a person, we are ministers of reconciliation. But the first Bible says, as much as it depends on us, you live at peace with all men. Does not mean say the that is why we see the kind of attitude that in NPP because we are too wise to be deceived. As I said, we are not stupid people. What the also we are now the GBG free, so we can see, we can recognize it, and that is why for that one we say we will not do it because it means that we can constitution. We are not defending the constitution because the constitution says that we should fight and defend against oppressors. If we allow that, it means that then we don't have a country, we don't have a democracy. And majority as a chairman of the permanent committee, I can call members meeting. Chairman. Oh, send and say, yeah, parent, put a number of ranking. Then be a ranking. But speaker from Thursday, none I'm there with. And of course, once a person say ranking for me, chairman, exactly, sanity. It's an essay, proceedings of parliament of Thursday night, they are adopting that consolidates it. Once you have adopted the proceeding today, and then on the president, yes, then they are officially after today, they are actually the minority, officially minority caucus, and we are officially majority caucus.
Honorable, the speaker, and they say, like that is an exact speak about that. Madam, yes, English, quickly. Honorable, you are live on Ghana Web TV, Facebook. Yes, quickly, what do you make of the speaker's decision this morning?
Well, I think the speaker's decision for me is the best decision that we can have in such a time like this, where tensions are high. The Akan man will say that what it means is that when there is passions or the passions are high, it's always good that you will give peace a chance, you will pause and give peace a chance. So I think that there's no better way speaker can deal with the situation currently in the House than what he did today, where he adjourned the House Senator. I would think that on account of this decision, the executive that stands to lose more because it's government business that we are supposed to be prosecuting in the House. This hearing, we call it the budget hearing, is one of the most critical hearings of the government. You see, so it will be in the interest of the government to reach out not only to speaker but also to the now majority side and to see how his minority side can work with our side to prosecute government agenda, and we are willing to do that. However, where it appears that the executive would want to twist our arms to take away the obvious majority we have in parliament now, that won't happen, because that one we shall resist.
That is the biggest question now, obvious majority or not. Speaker acknowledged receiving the court's decision on that, and he did not explicitly. Yes. So at this point, where do we stand in terms of the numbers and the majority or minority?
We stand with the announcement speaker made. The former, if you look at today's votes and proceedings, when I look at the title of the votes and proceedings, it was a formal communication. It was a formal announcement of a vacancy of a seat, pursuant to a petition by a member of parliament in accordance with our standing orders. So the speaker only gave an information of the vacancy. And you see, the practical part of such an information is that once you've been announced, you cannot have access to the chamber. And once you cannot have access to the chamber, what it means is that on the floor, the composition of the numbers are very obvious. Now, these are the matters that speaker put out there, and this is what is the subject of some litigation by some people who are not happy. The speaker says, I know what, I have made my announcement, some people are trying to challenge it, I have received some processes, looking at the circumstances, I've agenda House Senate that. So we just wait and see what Speaker does next, based on or what the court decides. Maybe that's how we look at it.
But what do you make of the NPP's reaction in all of this? The NPP side, they came in this morning but decided to abstain from even listening to the Speaker's announcement.
I mean, when somebody is losing power, it's obvious. It's obvious that the NPP is losing power, and they are, unfortunately, they are not managing the space well, right? They are not managing the space. It's not the NDC's fault that NPP members of Parliament decide to go independent. It's not our fault, and it's not our fault that the Constitution in Article 97 makes it clear that anytime there is such cross-carpeting, the seat is vacant, and the seat is declared vacant. So if the Speaker comes and gives out that information, in fact, it's not Speaker's fault that these provisions are there. So to attack the Speaker or to create the impression out there that the Speaker is colluding with maybe the NDC to do the wrong thing, honestly, it's rather a dishonest position. So the NPP are being dishonest with the people of Ghana. And it's just sad that it appears that their constant resort to the Supreme Court and maybe the manner in which like the case, the empanelment was done, the case was speedily heard, it doesn't engender confidence in many people who are watching that space, because then it kind of reduces the confidence people have, because people then think that, well, the judiciary is becoming like an extension of the executive, and so but you know, the three organs of government are so key, and remember that it is only the executive and the legislature that has the direct mandate of the people. So they all go out there to go and campaign, and it is the popular will of the people that is vested in these people to come and act on their behalf. And so if the executive is not acting well, the rule is that the judiciary, like the legislature, must be a control on the powers of the executive. Now the judiciary's role must be an impartial arbiter to hold balance the powers that are being exercised. But if it appears that the executive can actually use judicial arm to interfere directly with the work of Parliament, that cannot be allowed, because that would actually amount to unconstitutionality. It means that the executive is succeeding in using the judiciary to subvert the Constitution, and that can be very, very serious, because anytime any citizen sees a subversion of the Constitution, the citizen has a right to defend the Constitution. And when you read Longfula, one of the finest jurists, right, and he wrote about the morality of the law, and he even argues from a jurisprudential point that citizens are not under obligation to respect or to obey an immoral law. In other words, the dictates of rule of law includes or inherent in the dictates of rule of law is the fact that law itself must be fair, and it must be moral. It must be something that is not illogical, that accords with the people. It is not repugnant to good conscience and good judgment. So anytime you make an order that throws the entire nation into chaos and pandemonium, it tells you that is definitely not a good order. I am hoping that whatever processes the Speaker has received, whatever steps he takes, the Supreme Court, having seen what has happened within the last 3-4 days, will do the needful and give the proper effect to whatever articles that have been put before them. Thank you very much.
And we will not treat the issue of governance as lightly as they are doing currently.
With just 2 months.
Of course, I mean, what we are saying is that the business of the party in government is to govern. There's no word that says that they necessarily have to be majority before they can govern. And so if they have decided not to govern but to play politics, then so be it. We have always, put ourselves and our services available to assist them to govern. In minority or in our current state as majority, we are ready to help them govern. But if they are not ready to govern and they are interested in playing politics, then I think that we will all continue to play politics. But I must commend Speaker Bagbin. He's always risen to the occasion. If you look at the mood of the country, his decision is the best for now, so that we can all take a back seat and possibly reset and hopefully that will take us to that resetting will take us to the election where this whole country will be reset.
All right, leader,
So you are now the ranking member last and forever. You were the chairman because of minority. But now you are majority. Now I'm chairman. So you know how I'm ranking. Now I'm chairman.
Are you confident that when the House resumes, are you confident that when the House or when the Speaker calls back the House, you will declare in favor of the NDC caucus?
The Speaker has already declared. There's nothing, you know, there's no issue about who is the majority as things stand now. If you read 97G,
He didn't outrightly mention.
he did. Go and look at the Hansard. That is what we call, I mean, the votes and proceedings today. That is what was in the, so even if you notice, the Hansard department said the majority in quotes stage a walkout. Because clearly the Speaker agreed with the minority leader that by the conduct of the 4 members of Parliament, they had, you know, no business representing their constituents in the House again. And so the Speaker declared that indeed our side had become the majority, and he didn't even have to declare it because it is a numbers game. And so by simple arithmetic, you are going to arrive at 136 members of Parliament of the NDC and 134 members of the NPP, and by that arithmetic, it is commonsensical that we assume the majority rule. And like I said, and I want to repeat it, there is nowhere in the Constitution, there is nowhere in our standing orders that says that a governing party must necessarily be majority. The framers of the Constitution themselves anticipated that a time may come where the party in power may have minority in Parliament. So what is this fuss about their numbers reducing where they now have to play the role of minority? I do not get it. It is simply, in my view, an attempt to run away from their responsibility of governing, because they were elected to govern this country for 4 years. Their mandate is not over. They need to continue to govern, and they must stop the politicking and continue to govern. Otherwise, the people of Ghana have to even punish them more severely than they intended to, because in the last remaining 2 months, they are showing to us that because they don't have majority in Parliament, they can't govern. Is that what they are telling us? Our business has always been to help them to govern as a minority group. With our new end status as majority, we are still willing to help them to govern with their minority status. But if they are not willing to govern